Hello, my name is Veronica Alvarez. I am USA Baseball's women's national team head coach. I also coach with the Oakland A's during spring training. I got started in baseball when I was 5 years old. I always say I was born to play the game. I got on the field the moment I could and was my brother's back girl, never wanted to leave the field, wanted to keep practicing with his team until I got my own. So I played from 5 to about 10 years old, and then at 10 I was convinced to switch over to softball. I talk about it like softball pulled me in instead of baseball pushing me out, because that's what I feel. They convinced me that I'd be playing softball in junior high, so I didn't want to be playing two different sports, so I should just do a full switch. So they got me there, but it was a good experience. I got to play college softball at Villanova University, and then after college I got to play a summer of softball in Spain with my best friend from college. We traveled all around Spain playing. We won the Spanish Cup that year, which was their first year, so it was very cool. And then we played in the Euro Cup in Italy as well. When that was over, I came back to Miami. I started working at the public school system. I needed an outlet for the sport. I absolutely love it. So passionate about it as a player and a coach. So I started Googling, and I came across USA Baseball's women's national team by Googling the Colorado Silver Bullets, which was an all-women's professional team that played in the 90s. I saw one game when I was about 10 years old, and I will never forget it. I finally got to see women that loved this game just as much as me, and that were getting to play it at a high level. So I appreciate them on so many levels, and I love that that game was on TV that day, because I will never forget it. But I Googled them, and I found USA Baseball's women's national team. They had just finished playing the 2006 World Cup, so they told me they would let me know when the next one was. And sure enough, 2 years later, I was sent an email about a tryout in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and that decision to go to that trial is the fork in the road that led me to where I am today. I played in the 2008 World Cup in Japan. In 2010, we went to Venezuela. In 2012 in Canada. And then I didn't play in the 2014 World Cup because I became a firefighter paramedic, which I currently still am. And I had to report for my first day of work the same time I would be traveling out for the women's team. So I had to make a hard decision there, but it worked out. I got to go back and play with the women's team in 2015 for the Pan American Games. It was our first time in a multi-sport event, and it was incredible. As a young girl, I dreamt about being an Olympian, as I feel like most female athletes have. Specifically female athletes, I'm sure males have as well, but that's the highest stage for most of the sports. So to be able to live in Athlete Village amongst the elite of other sports was indescribable. I can't even put words to it, but it was so cool to see them warming up, getting ready to go out and compete, watching them go out. I remember seeing a cyclist with their bike going out to compete, and then watching them come back with a medal. So an all-around incredible experience leading up to it, during it, and then we won the Pan American Games, won a gold medal. So that just was the icing on the cake. A shame that it no longer is an event that has women's baseball. So I hope that changes and we can have it in the future. But incredible experience, probably one of the top experiences in my baseball life. So really loved it. Since then, I got injured in 2015, and I knew that I'd have to do more than just physical therapy, recovery. I'd have to have surgery, and I wasn't willing to. But I knew once I stopped playing that I would go all into coaching, and that I did. So it was hard first to accept that I would no longer be able to get to play, though I was grateful that I got to play till I was 32 years old. I understand that most people don't, so I love that I got to, but still an emotional process to get over. But I felt like I was able to turn a page and go all into coaching. I felt like that's how I was going to be my best self for my future players. So that's what I had to do. But since then, I've taken all the opportunities possible to coach and to get my dive into the pool of coaching and learn new ways to say the same thing. Obviously continue learning about the game. It's a game that you can learn forever. So I've just taken opportunities with MLB has hosted girls camps called the Trailblazer Series, the Breakthrough Series, some of my favorite events to get to work. And then USA Baseball, any event that they have me, I will go. So my job as a firefighter paramedic held me back from playing in the 2014 World Cup, but it has allowed me to take these opportunities in coaching, and so I will take that if that's what I had to do. I was on staff in 2018 for the women's national team, and then I've been managing since 2019. We played a Pan American qualifier and we're very successful, and we hope that after COVID we get back on the field and compete for the World Cup medal. So I probably mentioned one of my good moments in baseball, which was the Pan American Games. On the coaching side, I would say managing that 2019 team was probably one of my favorite things about coaching. The players made such wonderful adjustments from the year before, from 2 weeks before. They really bought into the team mentality, really were there to support each other, and it was the effects of that were seen on field and from the outcome. So it was an honor to be their coach in those moments. And then I'd have to also add just being able to coach with the Oakland A's at spring training. I feel that makes me a better coach for the women. So that first opportunity, amazing, but every single time I've come, it feels just as wonderful to walk in and see my jersey in the locker room and just be able to, be amongst these baseball minds and just get to learn every day. Some of the things I feel like as a female in baseball, a girl in baseball, we've faced people, making comments or just like being that only girl in amongst boys and just standing out at all times. I feel like the difficult part has happened since I was 5 years old, so I don't even remember the bad things or the difficulties that I've faced by being a female in baseball. I've just kind of built resistance since I was young, and unfortunate that I'd have to and that girls still have to, but still feel that it has made me stronger and it has allowed me to face those same issues as an adult, but all in, right, without letting it affect me. So I feel like the support of my family really helped me when I was young. I am a first generation American born Cuban. My parents are both born in Cuba. I was raised in Miami, which is very Hispanic, and I'm surrounded by the culture. So I very much feel Cuban, even though I acknowledge the differences between me and somebody that was actually born in Cuba. But I really do feel connected to my culture. And with that, I really love to acknowledge my parents and how they supported me, right? And typical in the Latin culture is that there are very defined gender roles and girls aren't necessarily playing sports. But my parents never really let that affect them. They were my biggest supporters since day one, and they still are. And just the fact that I knew that their support was there, whether I failed or I succeeded, that allowed me to push the boundaries and push forward and try to see how much I could accomplish. So having them in my corner has been big. And I say that not only because they need the credit, but just so that it is shown how important support is. Especially in a culture where it's not usually it's not the norm where girls get to go out and accomplish anything really. There was never a limit put on me, so I have appreciated them every day. Hopefully as a little girl I did too, but I'm trying to make up for it if I didn't now. So very important, and that probably comes with the issues that I've faced as being a little Latin girl wanting to do these typically boy things. So those comments were mixed in as well that I'm sure have helped me build resistance to them. Some of my hopes and dreams and goals for myself and for others is for the sport, I hope that I can continue being somebody that opens doors or that creates opportunities for younger generations to have a place within the game. That's really my why. I want to do these things so that I can create those moments and those opportunities for girls, or just to open their minds that these things are possible and that there's a place for them here. When I was young, I didn't have somebody in this role of coaching and within professional baseball, so I didn't even consider it. And so I just, the importance of visibility and seeing these images and what it does to younger generations. So I just want to be, do my part in being that person that might open a mind or open an opportunity for somebody else. With that, I hope that for the women's and the girls' baseball, I hope that we are an Olympic sport one day. That's my big goal for the women's team. Obviously, with that, the Pan American Games would be great. But I also hope there's some U20 events, U18 events, just to create opportunities for younger girls, create a futures team of sorts, so that we keep this growth of the game going. I am a big goal setter. I am an advocate for setting goals, writing them down, and then seeing what we have to do to accomplish them. So that is a big one for me. The Olympics, a U20 team, U18 team, 18 team, just more opportunities for girls to stay in the game and continue playing. I probably could go on forever, so I look forward to talking to more about baseball, more about my journey and my hope for the future in our panel. So thank you very much for having me.